this 2-hour workshop on life purpose, particularly with an element of embodiment. So I am Mark, and Steve is our host here. Say hello, Steve.
G'day everyone, nice to be on purpose, helping host.
If you have technical things, please message Steve. First of all, could everyone rename themselves where they are in the world? So that's the 3 dots on the top right-hand corner. You could add where you are in the world and write in the chat what you would like to get from this workshop, or else you'll be wasting 2 hours of your life that you won't get back. So this was originally planned for 2.5 hours. I'm finding that people's tolerance of Zoom is going down, so we will be doing 2 hours. You can still keep your name there, so you don't have to be called France or Lincoln, though they are lovely names. Lincoln certainly is a name, isn't it? So hello, everyone. Hello. Hello to Amsterdam, Carrie from Austin. Hello, Texas. Nice to see you again, Carrie. One of my regulars. Okay, we have someone from Berlin, Guten Tag, Connecticut, Lincoln, Omar in London, someone in Arizona. Hello, 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 hello. Cool. If you want to keep your cameras on, that's great for me in terms of interaction. If you want to keep them off just because you're zoomed out or you're naked or something, then fine. That's your choice. However, if I see you emailing or doing some other shit, I will just get rid of you because I'm going to fucking give this my all. And if you don't, then fuck you. Okay. This is the deal here is I'm going to give you my best and you give me your full attention in exchange. If you haven't realized by now, there will be swearing. There will be non-politically correct language, potentially. There will be jokes. I know this is shocking. Jokes are still allowed in the UK. If any of that offends you, now is the time to leave, okay? I will not be interested in your email of complaint later. I'm also going to go quite maximum Walsh. Who's worked with me before? Give me a wave. Give me a wave. Okay, this is your first time and your Walsh virginity. Okay, it could be quite intense. Could you write in the chat out of 10, how well are you? So 10 would be like the most well you've ever been. 0 would be like nearly dead. So how well are you right now? Please be as honest as possible. 10 is like, yay, super healthy. I'm a solid 8 today. Probably, maybe 8 at the beginning of the day, more like 7 now. I'm reading your comments about what you want as well while you're doing that. Someone said, hello, hope you're well, Mark. That's very nice of you, Virginie. Thank you. From South Africa, Belgium, Kalispera to our Greek friend. Okay, Dublin, that's where my family are from. Okay. So if you are a 5 or below, you may want to give this a miss, okay? This might be a bit intense. It might be not what you need. Despite appearances, I'm actually a relatively kind person, and I don't believe in brutalizing people unnecessarily. This may be a necessary brutalization, however, for some of you. And I would say that this training, what we're going to be looking at, involves things like confronting death, involves asking hard questions of yourself. If you engage fully with this 2 hours, it might be quite full on. So if you are having a bad time in life, a lot of us have had lately, there's a lot of crazy stuff going in the world, right? So if you're having a bad time, if you're below a 5 or below, you might want to just watch the recording at a later date. Okay, just because I want to go full into this for the 2 hours we've got rather than hold back. So those of you that have put 3 or 4, please do take care of yourself. Okay, practical things. You're in charge of you. So if there's something I suggest that you don't want to do not do it. You have choice. Yeah, that also means you're responsible for you. I can probably afford a better lawyer than you anyway. So do take good care of yourself today. If there's something you don't want to do, don't do it. I do really mean that. Yeah, totally okay to turn your camera off, to step out, to go for a walk, whatever you need. Unlike a normal training, I can't kind of follow you and check that you're okay, right? I can't say, Steve, run after that person and go into the toilets and check they're okay. And he'll say, it's the girls' toilets. I don't care. Follow them. See if they're okay. And then, why are you crying? You're right. You can't do that today. So it is important that you take care of yourselves. Yeah. It's not confidential in that it's being recorded. If you share in breakout rooms, however, that will be confidential. So if you want a chance to share something a bit more private, breakout rooms we will do at some point. I enjoy unmedicated ADHD, which means that I speak fast. If I speak too fast for your slow brain, please make the sign that Steve is showing now. This is the slow down sign. Could everybody make the slow down sign? Do it before you hate me. That's the secret here. Okay. If you're from another country, including the United States, okay, that doesn't speak real English, then feel free to ask, because I might well speak in British isms. Yeah. All right. Let's get you involved. Could everybody say hello in your first language, please? Steve, unmute everybody so they can all say hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
To hear your voice. That's enough. Okay. So good to hear you. What do you do for a living? Give me some sense of your work. That's not necessarily your passion. It just gives me a bit of a sense of where you might be coming from. If you're unemployed, that's fine. I've been there, no judgment. Does anyone have a cat? You get extra points for cats. Please hold your cat up if you have a cat. Extra points. Points win prizes. Okay, writer, unemployed. Writer or unemployed, usually the same thing. Graduate student, dance, coach with cat. Got it. That's not a cat coach. That's not actually your job. Okay, yoga teacher. Good. Relationship mentor. Different kinds of things, different kinds of people. Okay. What's a sophrologist, Steve? Do you know what that is? I don't know what that is.
Yeah, no,
Music
no,
therapy. No idea. No idea either. Retired firefighter. Cool. HR manager. Work with a lot of HR managers. Normally they're sort of brutalized by having to fire everyone. All right. Let's see. Where to begin? Who here knows exactly what their life purpose is? Please put me in the chat. I do. My life purpose is spreading embodiment to the world. That's my life purpose. I might tweak that. I might have different flavors of that, but it's all based around that and has been for at least the last 10 years. Okay, if you already know what your life purpose is, you probably don't need to be here, do you? Why don't you go get laid? Why don't you go for a walk in the sun? Why don't you take up a musical instrument? Why are you here if you know your life purpose already? Yeah. Okay. 3 of you. Okay, well, good for you. Maybe you're here to help other people. That's okay. You can steal my coaching ideas. Who has sort of some idea what it is, but maybe needs to clarify it? Put some in the chat. Some. Like, I've got some idea. In some ways, I would say I always have some idea. We're always, orientating you for it. If you know your life purpose is not to be, I don't know, a serial killer, okay, then you have some idea, because you know your life purpose at least isn't being a serial killer. There's some people, they wake up every day and they're all about the killing, They wake up and they're like, who can I murder today? It's all they think about, So if you know that that's not you, then you at least got some idea. Who thinks they've got no idea, or other than the serial killer thing, next to no idea? Put no idea in there, or no. Let's give me some sense of it. So no idea, or next to no idea. So more, not really, I'm a bit lost. Okay. If you've got absolutely no idea, I would probably recommend, if you're under 30 at least, traveling, getting drunk, sleeping with lots of people and finding out about them, making friends, going to bars, taking odd jobs. That's sort of what I recommend if you've got absolutely no idea, particularly if you're under 30. Okay, because that's really what your 20s should be about, isn't it? Let's face it. Yeah. So if someone comes to me and they're like 18, they say, I don't know what I want to do in my life. I say, it's because you haven't lived yet. You're only 18. Go and live. Go do what I did, work on a ski resort, then work in a pub in Ireland and look after kids on a beach. Yes, I was responsible for children. Just talk to interesting people. So that's the sort of beginner's part. Most of you look like you're in the some category, which means you're probably in the right place. Yeah, probably in the right place. And if well over 30, well, you could have a second youth, or you could just continue as if you had some idea. Yeah. You've probably got some idea if you're over 30 though, because you've done some stuff already and you've gone, that wasn't it. Yeah. You wouldn't be on this call, right? Okay. Other practicalities today. Who wants to see the happy slides? Of course you do. Of course you want to see the happy slides. These are the happy slides. I always play kittens. I always play the happy slides before my trainings to lure people into a false sense of security. Okay, there's the happy slides. I'm assuming you all know how to use Zoom, right? Is anyone new to Zoom? Has anyone been in a box for the last 3 months and hasn't used Zoom? You all know it. Steve, anything you want to say practically for Zoom?
Just that you can actually unmute yourselves. So just be careful that you don't accidentally do that if you're having conversation.
Especially if you've got nothing clever to say. Okay, we might take a little break at some point, but it's only 2 hours and you don't look weak, so I don't think we need more than a brief break for a 2-hour thing. This is too important to spend your time doing that. Okay, so we got a bit of a sense of who are you, where are you from, if you haven't changed your name to your location. Culture's a part of this, you know, in some parts of the world, it's you just do what your dad does, you know, that's kind of how it is, you know. Some parts of the world you've got more choice, different economics, so that is kind of interesting to me. Aims for today, to give you an overview of how you might find life purpose or more life purpose. It is a spectrum. Everything's a spectrum in 2020. How you might find more life purpose and at least some tools you can go away and practice. Now, maybe one of you will have a lightening moment and say, yes, I discovered it today, like the road to Damascus. More likely, you'll have a bit more of an idea of how you can go discover it for yourself. Yes, you have to do some work here. Most people that have a sense of life purpose, there's a few people who are just lucky. Like ever since I was a kid, I knew I wanted to be a vet because I've always loved cats. Yeah, I was dating someone that was a vet. And that's a few people. Okay, most people aren't like that. Most people have to work on it. Yeah, it's kind of like dating. You might have to go and date a few uglies that you don't get on with before you find the person. You go, you know what? I really like quiet men. I like tall men, and I like tall, kind men who are really passionate about. Okay, so now you start getting closer to the kind of person you want to marry. Yeah, or the kind of people, if that's you're in California and that's how you roll. Okay, all right. So you have to sort of do a bit of work, don't you? Okay, you have to do a bit of work on finding that partner, by finding what you're interested in, by finding the kind of people you get on with. And I would say purpose is a bit like that. In fact, the analogy of romance is quite good for purpose. Yeah, if you push it too hard, normally some sense of life purpose retreats rather than reveals itself. Yeah. It's like being on a date and being like, do you like me? Do you think I'm nice? I like you. It's like, it's a bit much. It's a bit much. So sometimes letting go and letting it come is important. Yeah, that's important. So romancing your sense of purpose is perhaps a better frame than some of you are more like me. You might want to sort of think of it as sort of hunting it. Yeah, hunting it down mercilessly. That's another frame that can be useful depending on your personality, neuroticism, and dysfunction. Both of those frames could be helpful. Okay, the romance or the hunting frame. Which of those appeals to you out of interest in the chat? Are you romancing or are you hunting? By the way, if at any point today you want to move around, you want to stretch, you don't have to stay sitting. Maya or Maya from Switzerland is demonstrating you can lie down, you can stand up, you can do yoga, you can do your washing up. As long as you're giving me roughly most of your attention, I'm totally happy. Yeah. So some hunt for romance. There we go. Bit of both, the yin and the yang we could think of there. Okay. Why? Why would you want to get closer to a sense of life purpose? You're investing your life today. You might not pay for this, but you are investing your time, and that is maybe more precious than money. If you ever met a rich person at the end of their life, you'd probably pretty sure it is more valuable than money. I mean, an 80-year-old with loads of money, give it all up for another 10 years. Why is it better? Why would we do this? Come on, you don't have to work. I'm not doing all the work. Why would we want some greater sense of life purpose? And for me, it's never quite a done deal. You know, it's like marriage. You're not like, right, the romance is over, we're married. That's a mistake. Yeah, there's always a little bit of romancing needed. There's always a little bit of like, where my life purpose has shifted a little bit. Yeah. Look at other people's answers too, if you can, in the chat. Several people have said fulfillment, happiness, meaning, congruence, feels better, service. So I can stop thinking that never stops until you're dead or enlightened. Sorry. Let's put it another way. Close your eyes. I want to give you the most depressing visualization in the world. If you're actually depressed right now, don't do this. Go for a walk and come back in 4 minutes. Okay, so close your eyes. Depressing visualization. Stop eating, Joe. Okay, here we go. There's a cat. Imagine your life if you got further away from life purpose. 10 years from now. 10 years from now. You're waking up in the morning for a job you hate. You've got apps. It's Monday morning. Your alarm clock goes off, and it's terrible. You couldn't think of a worse thing. You just want to stay in bed, but you've got to because you've got to pay the rent. And you're like, you're going to work. You hate your job. You absolutely hate it. You know, what's happened to your relationship in that 10 years if you've got a relationship? If you haven't got a relationship and you want one, how attractive have you been in that time? You know, your partner's maybe in the kitchen and they don't really respect you. They resent you. You resent your life. You're just miserable. You bring that out on them. You go to work or you don't want to be there. Your colleagues know that. Your boss knows that. Please do the visualization or go away. Anita, Karina, I'm talking to you. So these are the options. Take a step out if you want to step out, or do it. So you're imagining what the world would be like for you fully. How would you feel in your body? How much money would you have made? Would you have been successful doing this thing you hate? How would your friendships be? You know, maybe you're at the pub after work, you're drained, you're talking to your friends, you hate your job. You've probably got friends that hate their job as well, because like attract likes. How's your health? Maybe you've been compensating by alcohol or overeating or some other compensation. You're not very happy. How's your general well-being? And then you go home to your resentful partner, tell them what an awful day you've had. Go to bed, wake up, next day, same thing. Same thing. Bit worse though, because it's the next day. Gets a bit worse every day generally with this kind of thing. Now another 10 years of that. How's your health? How's your relationship? Are you successful? You don't need to type this. I just want you to keep visualizing it and feeling it in the body. Don't worry, the secret doesn't work. It won't come true just by thinking about it. I actually want you to suffer more. I want you to suffer more now to actually feel what this is like. And, you know, to some extent, you're probably doing this to a degree already, right? Or you wouldn't be here. There might be some dissatisfaction, some sense of not having the energy to go to work, some sense of impacting relationships or health. The problem is not that life sucks. The problem is that people aren't willing to feel how it sucks enough that they do something about it. So it takes courage. This is why I was making sure you were all at least well enough today. This takes courage. If you're not getting upset yet, you're probably not doing it deep enough. And now it's the end of your life and it's too late. You've missed that opportunity. You look back with regret at all the things you haven't done, the unwritten books or the unmade business, whatever it was. And it's too late now. Maybe you're noticing your eulogy, and your eulogy is, this was a pretty average person who didn't really achieve anything, seemed to be miserable most of the time, and didn't have great relationships. Maybe you only care about one or two of those three things. Okay. Please open your eyes, stand up, have a move, shake that feeling off. Shake like a dog that's come out of water. If you can't stand up, you can shake where you are, but please stand up if you're physically able to. Trust me, this will be good for you. Steve, let's do breakout rooms. Groups of 6. Why do you want to develop a greater sense of life purpose? Groups of 6. You can reverse all of what we just said. 5 minutes, groups of 6.
I believe you have to give me hosting rights because I can't as a co-host.
Okay, let's try this. How about now?
Perfect. There we go. See you later, guys. If you happen to be in a room by yourself, I will move you if there's 2 of you. So just bear with me for
So the question here is, why do you want to work on your life purpose? I want to get really clear that there's a strong motivation so we don't waste our time fucking around today, okay? So getting really clear that there's a good reason to, yeah? Cool. Hello, Cristalia, Tatalia. Don't smile when I swear, it just encourages me. Okay, small breakout rooms, off you go. How you doing, Steve?
Yeah, pretty good. Haven't been screenless yet today, so we'll get there at some point.
I'm having a pretty good day today. Feel on the right side of things today.
What's
We're
that?
still recording. We should probably pause this, shouldn't we?
There we go.
Okay. So we've dived a little bit at the deep end here. How are you guys doing? Show me on the camera if you've got your camera on, which I do appreciate. Give me a sign. Still okay? Bit rough? Yeah, it's meant to be a bit rough. Yeah. How was that? I'd love to hear just from 1 or 2 people for like 30 seconds. How was that? Just unmute yourself. Let's hear from 1 or 2 people. Go for it. Be a gift.
Heavy.
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 Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like we don't want to realize the cost of an unlived life. Yeah. It's because the alternative, of course, is entertainment. You can distract yourself from that little voice inside going, you're not quite living up to your potential. And of course, none of us are. I mean, what is a human being capable of? Leonardo da Vinci? Jesus? The Buddha? I mean, take your pick. I mean, you know, these are archetypes of what we're capable of. I mean, you know, if you're doing anything less than that, it's a bit embarrassing, isn't it? Right? So we're like, wow, a human being, especially in the modern world with what we have available to us now, by far the best time to be alive. Yeah. If you're a woman, definitely the best time to be alive. So, you know, if I gave you a time machine, would you really want to go back in time? Really? What date? Fuck no. Yeah. It's like, wow, given everything that we have available to us now, I know we don't have it equal. Different people have, you know, different challenges, different situations. But wow, what we've got available, and this mediocre piece of average fucking whatever, my life, it's a bit embarrassing, isn't it? Let's hear from someone else.
I was gonna say like hopeful. I think it's really cool to see so many people that have shown up, and it's like taking initiative, taking control. And if you can take control, you can change your life. So, yeah.
Great, nice North American positivity. Nice to hear you. So actually, interestingly, 4 out of 5 people who registered didn't turn up. So wow. 500 people registered for this. But wow. Those of you who have, I absolutely agree with you, Alicia. The first decision here is to say, you know what? I'm going to do some work. I'm going to turn up. Even though it's not comfortable, I'm going to do some work. yeah, to actually go to it rather than distraction or entertainment. So one of the favorite methods I have, this is method number 1, if you want to write these down, for getting clearer to your life purpose. Okay, some people like taking notes, you geeks, I can see you. Okay, give up entertainment for a week. Give up all entertainment, all magazines, all computer games, all films, all entertainment. So you obviously, there's certain things you have to do. If you go to work, to earn a living, look after your kids, wash. That means there'll be several hours a day for some of you who are, you know, new mums, maybe just half an hour or 10 minutes, where you're just sitting in the discomfort of the fact you're not living your full life. As opposed to going, yeah, but crisps. Yeah, you also ban any kind of like comfort eating, alcohol, anything like that. Yeah, porn, whatever your thing is, your go-to for, what's your go-to? What's your like comfort go-to? It's like, existential angst, food, that's one of mine. Yeah. What's your thing? Scotch. Reading. Okay, so it could be reading, but from distraction rather than reading for learn something to enrich oneself, right? There's 2 types of reading, yeah? Wine, Facebook, great. Facebook's right there. It's going to give you that little dopamine hit. Yeah, give that stuff up for a week. See what it does to you. You'll probably get more miserable before you tune into your purpose, though. So again, you need capacity. You need capacity to do this work. That's why I was checking your well-being earlier today. Yeah. If you're below 5 out of 10, your job is to gain capacity, gain resilience, gain well-being, look after yourself. Okay, not to confront the existential gun that's to all of our heads all the time. Right? Like literally, you have a gun to your head the whole time. You could have a heart attack right now. I've had friends that have died younger than everyone I can see on the screen right now. Pretty sure you're older than friends that I've had that have died. Yeah, some of them, you know, was psychotic break, jumped off a bridge. My friend Rachel. Hit by a car, another friend of mine. Yeah, violent gun crime, another one. This is just life. Brain aneurysm before I finish the sentence I'm speaking now. Very possible. Statistically, there's 102 people on this call. Very, very likely, before the end of this year, I would guess statistically 2 of these people will be dead at least. 2. At least 2. So have a look at the screen. Who's that going to be? Yeah, should do bingo, shouldn't we? I'm going to put some money on it. Who looks the least healthy? No, can't always tell. It's not always about health. You can have green smoothies and do yoga every day and still get hit by a car. Yeah, blissed out, not knowing what you're not looking across the road. Okay, good. So, advantages of life purpose. Let's go for the advantages of life purpose. So, for me, just getting really clear about what's at stake is absolutely the motivating piece for doing the work. Yeah, the work's actually relatively simple. Things like, stop entertainment for a week or a month or a year. Yeah, go into the woods if you can't do that. Nature's fucking great for finding life purpose. Yeah, go camp with nothing else to do for a week. Yeah, sit with the question until it hurts, and then it makes you cry, and then you scream, "I don't know," and then you cry some more. And nature's just like, "I don't care, don't fucking care, I don't care." Nature doesn't give a shit. Yeah, it's just like, and eventually you're like, okay, you surrender, and something comes through. There's a kind of surrender needed often in this case. Yeah. So advantages: happier. You will be happier with a sense of life purpose. This is obvious, is it not? Like, you see people who do you know that has a sense of life purpose? Do you know someone that's like clearly got a sense of life purpose? And if you're a 7 out of 10 of life purpose, who do you know that's a 9? Pick someone that's a bit above you on the scale. Yeah. I would say I'm a 9, not a 10. There's always room that you can find a bit more life purpose. I certainly don't feel like I'm out of integrity teaching this course. Happiness here doesn't mean you're always in a good mood. Those of you who know me will know that's not always the case. I'm quite cantankerous, and about 50% of your mood's genetic anyway. Okay, but that sense of having meaning, that sense of fulfillment, that sense of purpose, right? Actually, we're wired for this. Our brains are wired to make us happier when we make advancement towards a goal. This is quite interesting. It's not getting the thing, right? Did anyone ever get the thing they wanted and then realize they weren't happy? I did this when I was a kid. I got given a toy that I wanted. It was a Micro Machine Car City that I really wanted. And I really, really wanted it for months and months and months. And I opened the package up at Christmas Day and I was like, oh my God, my parents who were quite poor managed to buy me this thing. I was really happy for about 5 minutes. Yeah. And then after that, I was like, oh, that hasn't really made me happy. So it's like the achievement of the material thing is not the thing, right? So it's the moving towards a goal. That's what purpose is all about. And that's the absolute essence of happiness. And it's neurologically wired into your reward systems. Yeah, neurologically wired in. Okay, so we have happiness. We might talk about a sense of contentment here. It doesn't mean being like, yay, happy the whole time, but a sense of being at peace with yourself. We have this great word in England, which is knackered. Who knows this word, knackered? Knackered means, literally, it means tired after sex. That's how you end the day feeling when you're working for 12 hours with a sense of life purpose. Okay, it's tired, you're still tired, but it's like you're well spent. Yeah, you've been well spent. It's like your options, I mean, you're gonna die, right? So your options are basically you burn out and are destroyed by the thing you love or by something else. They're your choices. Okay, you're a human sacrifice. You are on a pyre being burned right now. You ever see that in India where they burn people's bodies? That's happening to you now. It's just happening on the level of cell. What's it called, Steve? You know the other shit. It's respiration, cell respiration. That's the pyre you're being burnt on right now. Every time a cell replicates, there's damage done to it. Yeah, this is death. This is built into you genetically. Unless you're a fungi and you don't have this. Okay. So if you're going to get burnt out, well, why not for something that you enjoy? Meaning is the key thing here. So who's read Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning? Jewish psychiatrist in a concentration camp. Yeah, he said, you know, you're not going to be happy like ha-ha in a concentration camp, but the sense of meaning, the sense of having meaning to your life is what we most want. If you have meaning, suffering becomes bearable. It's like giving birth, which obviously I've done, so I know a lot about. Giving birth is meaningful suffering. Make sense? Parenting seems to be meaningful suffering as well, as far as I can tell. Yeah, running a business, doing something meaningful is meaningful suffering. It's not that it doesn't hurt, but there's a meaning for it, so it's bearable. You with me? Is this making sense? So you can't. Suffering is not optional. It's how much meaning there is around your suffering, right? This is the key thing. So happiness, meaning around suffering, a sense of drive, energy. People say, where do you get your energy from, Mark? I'm like, well, ADHD, coffee, and I do what I love, right? So you're not, if you do what you love, there's this old saying, you never do a day's work again if you do what you love for a living. Like, I don't struggle to find the energy to do my work. It's there. So in terms of that energy, for sure. Yeah. Intersubjective. How are your relationships when you're not on purpose? Pretty shitty, right? Pretty shitty. You try to use the relationships to make up for purpose. So this is where someone has a child that they try and make up for purpose, or they try and make their partner make up for purpose. That's quite a lot of pressure to put on a romantic partner. You're my purpose. Whoa, get your own fucking life. Yeah. Okay, this is way too much pressure. Some people are more relational, and for them, their purpose can be around supporting other people's purposes. If for those people who are very relational, but be a little careful of codependency in that. Okay, also putting the pressure on them. So yeah, making someone else your purpose is a way to destroy that relationship, I would say. Okay. Okay, this is, by the way, this is like in every Hollywood movie. There's a guy and he's like, honey, I've got to go do what a man's got to do. She's like, don't leave. If you leave, you're never coming back. I hate you if you leave. This is the last time. He's like, honey, I love you, but I love my country. I've got to go. And he goes and he does his life purpose thing and he saves it and he jumps on the Russian Saab and he saves the world. And he comes back and says, sorry, I had to do it. And she says, don't worry, I still love you. And she takes him back. Okay. Why? Because she understands on a level that, and this is the archetype playing out in movies, that his sense of purpose is more important than her and their relationship. Okay, a good relationship, male, female, dolphin, whatever, they're going to understand that they're second. Second. Did you ever have a partner who thought they were first? Yeah, make me the center of your world. That's fucking narcissism. Yeah, it's like, make your partner second and they will love you more for it. It gives them room to breathe, if nothing else. Yeah. Okay, so relationships change. Who's more attractive, a person on purpose or a person without purpose? Imagine Steve and I are on a date, right? We've met on Gaydar, we're on a date, lockdown's ending, we're good to go. And Steve, you happy with this role play? Just want to check I'm not forcing you. You look comfortable. Okay. And Steve says, oh, Mark, it's lovely to meet you. What do you do for a living?
Hey, Mark, lovely to meet you. What do you do for a living?
Oh, nothing much, really. I mean, you know, I've got a job, but I'm not really into it. And, you know, it's fine. Yeah, whatever. Okay, women, are you dehydrated yet? Okay. Gay men, are you floppy yet? Come on, this is rubbish. All right. Now ask me again, Steve.
Hey, so Mark, what do you do for a living?
I design screwdrivers. I know it sounds geeky and weird, but I love it. I love designing screwdrivers. That's what I get up for in the morning. What do you do, mate? Way more attractive. Way more attractive. I don't care about your gender or your sexuality. That's more attractive. Particularly for men, though, I have seen, particularly for men. Yeah, seems to be the case. Maybe that's cultural, maybe that's not. So, makes you more attractive, makes your relationships better. And of course, success. Who here would like to be successful in some form? Oh, you hippies, a bit slow. It's a bit slow. Okay, imagine someone said, my job is ending hunger in the third world. Do you want them to be successful? Hopefully, yes. Okay, if someone said, my job is reducing racism in the police department in Detroit, would you want them to be successful? Hopefully, yes. Okay, so you might pretend you're hippies, but you all fucking believe in success. All right, the difference is just what by your values, by your definition. Yeah, so you do want to be successful because otherwise, like, why the hell are you doing anything? Make sense? Yeah, you might not want to have a Ferrari. Okay, you might not want to have a yacht full of whatever, okay, coke and hookers, okay, but you, by some definition, you want success. You want to be good at the thing you do, which, by the way, is also very satisfying. You can be expert in anything and it's satisfying, actually. There's a satisfaction that comes from just being really good at something, even if it's, I don't know, watchmaking or, you know, whatever the skill is. What are you really good at? You're really good at something already? Type in chat. If someone wants a yacht, there's a great YouTube video called On a Yacht, okay? Rappers on a yacht. Success is not always defined by money. Yes, no, that's true. However, money helps with a lot of things. Yeah. Feeding people, dancing, writing music, performing poetry, communication, being a mum. Great. So this is part of your life purpose. Part of your life purpose is what you're good at. It's not the only part, but it's what you're good at. It's part of it. Another way, if you're not sure about this, what do other people ask your advice on? That's another way of getting into this. So a lot of people ask my advice on like marketing, and I was like, what the hell? They just kept asking me about it, and I'd be like, it's not really what I do. But I'd buy something. Someone would buy me a coffee, and someone else would grab me after Fire Rhythms and ask me, and someone, it would be like a common thing. And eventually, I went, okay, I must be reasonable at this. What do people ask your advice on? Yeah. Or what is easy to you that other people are like retards at, okay? So it's like, what's something that you go, why can't everyone do that? What the fuck's wrong with you? Does it make sense? Like there's some stuff that to me is just so simple. I'm like, why? Well, I'm quite confident, right? So I can just go up to a random person and say hello to them. And, I don't get why other people can't do that. For me, it's totally weird. Just go talk to the person. It's not that hard, right? What's wrong with you? Just walk and use your mouth. Yeah. So excuse my language before, but it's like, what is the thing you go, oh, what's wrong with you? Why can't you do that? Yeah. Because you might not think of it as your gift. You just think that everybody else is weird and broken. Okay. Like Mozart, the first time he picked up a piano, he was just like, Mozarting away. And he was like, well, why can't you do this? It's easy. It's music. You just press the keys. It's easy. Yeah. Okay, good. So these are all ways into starting to know your strengths. Strengths are not everything, but they are helpful. Another thing you can do this right now if you want. Text 10 of your friends that know you from different areas and say, what 4 things am I good at? Okay, if you're British, you might have to put something on there like, look, this is for an exercise. Try not to be a sarcastic wanker. Okay, I'm on a course. You might have to do a little bit of like framing around it just so your friends aren't mean to you. Yeah. Normally British friends will give you like one. They'll be like, you're kind, you're funny, you're confident, and you've got a small dick. Yeah, they'll normally do like one fun one just because they're British and they have vulnerability issues. But I don't know what your culture's like. Will Australians do that, Steve, as well? I think they would, wouldn't they?
Yeah, almost the reverse. Most of them are just making fun of.
3 of them will be, and then one nice one. Okay. Wow, I feel lucky now to be English. So if you want to do that with your phone now, you can do that. Like, what am I good at? What are my skills? If they say you specific things, it's not so helpful. If they say you're good at cooking chicken, it's like, okay, but what's beneath that? What's the thing that makes you good at cooking chicken? Yeah, it's more useful. It might be your attention to detail. It might be your creativity. It might be your sense of care that you really want to give people good chicken. Is it getting close to dinner time? I'd love some chicken. Okay. You getting me? So tuning into strengths is a really key thing here, yeah? Tuning into strengths. What could you be a genius at? What could you be a genius at? Something that if you went and practiced your 10,000 hours, you'd be good at. So I've done well over 10,000 hours of training. I know sometimes it doesn't show, but there's an ease and a flow I have with training, simply that I've done a lot of it. Yeah, simply that I've done a lot of it. I've also come from a family of teachers. I've had training in it. You know, there's other reasons there. Yeah. Now, even if I gave up embodiment, I don't think I'd give up teaching. It's kind of in my blood. It's something I've developed skill at. It's something here's another key one. You feel alive when you do it. So you can think of this as your somatic radar. Yeah, your embodiment radar. So it's not, yes, sometimes it's like you've got lots of energy. Yeah, but it might not be if you're tired or whatever, depending on time of day. It's a feeling sometimes of like rightness, like it fits like your old comfortable underpants. Other times it's a feeling of aliveness, like a buzziness. Yeah. Like I get a buzz out of teaching. I like teaching. There's something in this that's definitely on purpose for me when I'm teaching. Doesn't matter if I'm being paid or not. It doesn't matter if the subject almost doesn't matter. You know, it's just something. Here's another way. It's what do you habitually keep doing? Like if I go on holiday for a week without teaching, after a week, I start teaching my poor wife. Okay. Camille play the violin for my wife. Because she's sitting there at the dinner table and I'm like, yeah, well, let me tell you about spiral dynamics and the 8 levels of human development. And she's like, Mark, stop it. Yeah. It's just like, I can't stop it. Make sense? So what would you do even if you weren't paid for it is a good question. And what do you do habitually? Maybe put in the chat, is there something that you do now, aside from things that are just sensoriously pleasurable, right? It's like, you know, if I had my perfect day would be eating chocolate and having oral sex. Okay, great. But that's great. That's all fun. But what, aside from just sort of sensory pleasure, what else would your perfect day involve a lot of? It's another nice way in. Or what do you keep doing? What do you do when you've got time, even if it's unpaid? Maybe there's like one aspect of your job. Yeah. So maybe it's like you hate your job except for that little bit there, that little bit of the job, because that's what we call a bright spot that can point to other things. So someone say, you know, I'm a teacher and I absolutely hate the kids, but I really like marking the homework. Okay. And they might go, okay, so your life purpose isn't about kids, but it could be to do with examining, yeah, testing or something like that. Okay, what do you do habitually, or what would you do for free? Another classic way into this, a bit of a cliche, but I think it's actually quite a good question. You win the lottery. You're surprised because you don't normally buy a ticket, but somehow someone bought you a ticket and you won the lottery. You wake up tomorrow, you've got all the money you need. First week, you just have a rest, you have a sleep, you know, maybe have a holiday, you know, buy some hookers and coke, whatever you're into. Okay, you chill out for a month. What do you do after that month? Now you can do anything. You've got all the money in the world. You don't have to worry about the bills. You can get people to help you. You could pay for, you know, teams to come in and do your marketing for you. You could pay for this and that. What would you do? Put that in the chat. After traveling, after relaxing, after shagging, all the sort of sensory pleasure, fun things. Yes, yes, yes. That's great. The purpose of life isn't fun. Okay. I tried that. I lived in Brazil above a nightclub. I got drunk every day. I had a very good time with the local population, and I was almost suicidal after 6 months. Okay. Pleasure is not the purpose of life. If you think it is, go to the hedonistic extremes, try not to die, I almost died, try not to die, you will find out it doesn't make you truly happy. Yeah, every rock star in the world has tried this. Pure hedonism. I'm not against pleasure, but you won't find meaning in it. Can vouch for that. Do you have any ex-rock stars here? You normally just end up like addicted to drugs, full of venereal diseases. You're hungover. It's a nightmare. It doesn't end well. So it's the path of the pleasure and distraction and the path of meaning. So what do you do other than the pleasure distraction stuff, which is nice, right? We all need a holiday. We all want to go traveling. That's great. But what else? You know, after 2 years of traveling, would you still want to be traveling? Maybe not. Yeah, I did 3 months of traveling with my wife. It was great. But after 3 months, I was like, okay, enough already. It's like, if I see one more cathedral. Anyone from America done the Euro tour and seen excess cathedrals? Okay, so this might point you in a direction, yeah? The thing you would do anyway. It's a good question. We could spend an hour just looking at that. What would you do if money wasn't an object, yeah? Money wasn't an issue. Okay, what we're getting to a little bit now is this god-awful cliche diagram you've probably seen before, yeah? So they've given it this pretentious Japanese name. If there's any Japanese people there, maybe they can confirm. It didn't used to have this name. So some combination of what you're good at, what you love, and actually there doesn't need to be 4, because what you can be paid for and what the world needs is the same one, okay? If you're meeting a need, people will pay you for it, yeah? Even if they can't afford to, someone will pay you to do it for them, okay? In the case of that's how charity works, yeah? So there really is only 3 things on here, I would argue. So what are you good at? You can't be rubbish at it. What do you love? You could be good at something and not love it. Yeah, I'm pretty good at teaching marketing, but I don't want to do it all the time. I'd rather be teaching embodiment. It's not like my deepest love. It's part of it, but it's not the main part of it. Yeah, and something that people will pay you for because you're meeting a need. This is the beauty of capitalism, the most wonderful system the world's ever tried, okay, which is that the world will pay you for what it needs. If you can solve problems, you'll get paid for it. Yeah. How are you guys doing? Any insights so far? Maybe write in the chat any insights you've had so far. So how do we find strengths? We can ask people, we can get feedback, we can ask clients, hey, why am I a good yoga teacher? Why do you keep coming to my class? All right, you've been coming to my class for a year, why? And they'll tell you what you're good at. They'll say, well, because you're really kind and you're a really good teacher. And you go, okay, cool. You know? That's marketing lesson as well, by the way. How do we find what we're good at? We notice, how do we find what we love? Well, we notice what we've got energy for at the end of a long day. Who's at the end of their day now, like me, kind of 6 p.m., 7 p.m.? So what could you do for another 3 hours? Okay. If you couldn't do it for another 3 hours now, it's not your life purpose. Who's in the morning? You're going to have to maybe put a note on your computer at 8 p.m. What could I do for another 3 hours? Well, you put that in your diary now if you're in America. Yeah. Eat. Okay, so you get it with like food and sex and sleep. That's the sensory stuff. That's great. That's necessary. I'm a fan of, they're like my 3 favorite things, okay? But they won't make you happy. Yeah. If you don't believe me, go to excess. Go to excess in something. It's dangerous, but it will prove the point. Yeah, the rock star path. Anything that you think is pleasurable, just go to excess in it. It will become boring and then it will become unpleasant. Purpose doesn't have that quality. Purpose is you can keep doing your thing. It's also why it's fucking dangerous. Purpose is dangerous. There should be another course called How to Survive Finding Your Purpose. Yeah? Your purpose will sacrifice you on the pyre of your life. Your purpose does not care. The muse will fucking rip out your heart and feed it to the world. Yeah? Burnout is my biggest risk. My biggest risk is work, because I love what I do, is working too much. Anyone who knows me can attest to that, I think. Yeah, my biggest risk is pushing myself and everyone around me way too hard, because I'm just so driven on it. But that's kind of a first world problem. Okay, it's like, oh no, I love what I do so much, I exhaust myself. It's a better problem to have than I hate my life. Yeah. Okay. Any other insights so far? So we talked about the body radar. Your body is your best friend when it comes to life purpose. Your body knows when you're lit up or when there's this sense of rightness. Yeah, so years ago, I was involved in a peace project in Cyprus with the UN, involving people from warring countries, all doing Aikido together. Very obscure project. This was the first time in my life I felt a true sense of life purpose and meaning. And various teachers had got me involved, a guy called Don Levine, a guy called Richard Strozzi Heckler. And I'd worked really hard on it, and they'd given me like a promotion. I was this young guy and I was like one of the managers. And there was this moment where I led 100 Aikido people from the south of Cyprus, which is Greek, to the north of Cyprus, which is Turkish, okay? And in the middle is something called the Green Line, which is a sort of no man's land. And it's got like security at each end, and it's a few hundred meters in this particular place. And we were walking across, and I was leading these guys across the no man's land. And I just had this sense that my entire life had gone vroom and led to that. It gives me goosebumps thinking about it even now, yeah? It was like, this is exactly where I should be. Okay, this is the exact place on the planet with the people doing the thing. And that was where the place I actually discovered embodiment. Actually, that's where I met Paul Linden. That's where I met Strozzi. That's where Miles Kessler. That's where I met the guy who I went to Brazil with and Ethiopia. And my whole life came from that moment, actually. Yeah, but I was tuned into my body enough, because I was already doing a lot of martial arts, that I realized that was happening. So if you're not tuned into your body, you'll miss the moment. And sometimes it's dramatic like that. Other times it's just like, oh, I kind of like doing that. You know, your boss says, hey, who wants to do more of X? And you're like, yeah, I like that. Okay, so sometimes it's just these small, for some people, purpose is like the road to Damascus. You know, it's like, oh, they feel it, you know. Other people, it's just little nudges, little nudges. There's different models of purpose. Most purpose coaches are using a sort of evangelical American model, which is like, God has a special plan just for you. Okay. So Carrie, can you do a Texan accent for me? Help me out here. And so it's like this idea of the universe or God or whoever has some plan for you. And it can feel like that sometimes, can't it? It can feel like, yeah, I'm meant to be here. This is my purpose. And if you do believe in some kind of higher power, you can theologize that if that fit, you know, if you like to. You don't have to. You can think of it almost, you know, if you prefer to look at it in more sort of abstract spiritual terms, you know, it's kind of like the universe is lined up to this particular thing. The dangers of that is narcissism and a sense of grandiosity and a sense of divine purpose, you know, manifest destiny. If you don't like that model, another frame is the sort of European existential model. Yeah, which is, in a meaningless world, I choose X as my purpose to create meaning. Both of these models have their pros and cons. Okay, so in a meaningless world, the world is meaningless. There's no morality. So it's Nietzsche, kind of the desolate moral landscape of the post-Nietzsche world. Okay, you can still choose meaning. It's like, fuck you, world. I choose meaning. Now, in some ways, embodiment chose me. But in other ways, I chose embodiment, right? In some ways, it's always been my destiny. In other ways, I go, yeah, I just made a choice. I picked something, okay? And I sort of picking something is part of it. Marriage is a bit like that, isn't it? It's like the one for me. And then it's like, yeah, but you also just pick someone. Like, what is marriage? Marriage is a commitment. That's what it is. That's the magic, actually, is the commitment. Okay, and it's like, is my wife the only woman in the world for me, the perfect partner just for me, chosen by God, the universe, and everything? Absolutely, 100%. And she's also a woman, a normal woman with flaws. And actually, if I'd have met her another time, maybe I wouldn't have got together with her. Maybe I would have got together with the other woman I met, right? And there's probably some other women that are just as good as her in the world. I don't like to admit it too loudly, but there probably are. Okay. So it's like, on one level, I just made a choice. So life purpose can be like that. If you have something in your life, it can be a bit of an arranged marriage even, you know, like, you know what, I'm good at this. I like this. People want this. I'm just going to choose to give it my all. Worst case scenario, you feel good giving something your all and you get more successful as a result. Worst case scenario. Best case scenario, it turns out to be your deepest purpose all along. Yeah. So that model of choosing. Third model, Taoist model. This is, again, needs the body radar. Taoism, going with the flow, feeling into where is the place you should be in that moment, rather than a fixed life purpose that lasts forever. Pros and cons to this, okay? The con to this one is it can be a very good excuse for bullshit and not committing and just going with what you feel like. It's like, yes, my life purpose is eating chocolate. That feels good. No. Okay. So the pros to this is it stops it being like manifest destiny and like this kind of weird fascism of you have one purpose and it's the special purpose just for you. You also don't have to be monogamous, you know, you don't have to be purpose monogamous with this. There can be a certain purpose polyamory with this. Do you understand the analogy that you can go between different activities? Yeah. Some people have different activities, but they have one very clear set of values underneath it. So the purpose is more about the values than the activities. Yeah. Like I've got a friend of mine, one of my students, actually, he runs community centers. He builds yoga studio. He's running a food bank right now. It's all stuff around community, but it doesn't really matter if it's yoga or a food bank or a community. It doesn't really care as long as it's all about community. So the community part is his life purpose. How that expresses, he just kind of does what he feels like and what's fun and what's easy and what's available. And yeah. Cool. So what were those three models? So there's like the divine model, the higher power model, that you've been chosen for a particular purpose in life, right? That the universe has designed something just for you. Destiny model, we could call that. That's valuable at times. If I sound sarcastic, that's just my particular way I'm set up. Yeah. The Taoist model and the humanistic existential model. Which of those do you think works best for you? I've thought about this a lot. Okay, guys, you guys are getting like years of thinking in 2 hours. So which of those is most useful for you? Yeah, you can mix it up, but there may be one that you go, that's the one that's going to help me right now. Great. And you can do one for a bit and like, you know, I have this destiny and you do really great and that gives you loads of confidence. And after a while you start being a wanker and start thinking, you know, then you go, oh, okay, maybe I need to change it up a bit. Yeah. Can lead to inflation, that first one. Okay, it might be a bit of both, might be a bit of a cocktail. There's probably other models out there, but most of the books you'll see written are from an American point of view, and they're the first one. You have to understand America was a country founded by religious crazy people who'd been kicked out of Europe for being too nuts. And, you know, that's what you need to understand about all personal growth that comes from that continent. Okay. All right, good. Imagine the Russian version of this. It'd be very different. All right. Cool. Let's take a few breaths. I'm giving you a lot of information. So feet on the ground, bum on the chair, whatever you're on. Let's take a few breaths together. So breathing in. Okay, the key thing. It's good to know your strengths. It's good to feel into what you love. Key thing of working with this over the years is the confrontation with death. We've been doing that already. The sense of impermanence. Now, in the past, you'd see death every day, you know. You listen to stories from the Buddha's time, people like dying in the streets and, you know, disease everywhere. Now, COVID's been a little bit helpful for that, but it's still not quite as in your face as, you know, most of human history. So presencing death can be very, very useful for finding life purpose. It wakes you up to the finality of your life. Yeah, the fact that it doesn't last forever. If you have had a bereavement in the last few months, if you are feeling under-resourced in any way, if you are feeling depressed or in some way sensitive, please, please, please take a break now. Go to the toilet, go make a cup of tea. It will not feel worse from you. I have had times in my life where I've been suicidal, particularly before I found life purpose. I've had times in my life where I've lost people. Death meditation wouldn't be a good idea then, okay? Who's done a death meditation before? Give me a wave. Okay, if you haven't, it might be a little bit upsetting the first time. It does get easier every time. Okay, please find yourself in a comfortable position. Close your eyes and turn your camera off. Okay. So making a choice if you want to go into this or not. If you do want to go into this, find a position where you won't fall asleep. So only lying down if you're very awake, otherwise sitting up. Okay. Notice your breathing. One day that will stop. Every breath is a breath closer to that stop. Once your breathing stops, within a few minutes, your brain will be dead. You will be medically dead. After that, who knows what happens? No one knows for sure. Maybe nothing, maybe something, who knows? But in the form you are now, you will die. This is a fact. It's the only thing I can say with certainty today. Notice your heart beating. Maybe you can feel it in your chest. Maybe you can feel your pulse. And that will stop. And again, pretty soon afterwards, your brain will die. You'll be dead. Notice the warmth of your body. Maybe feeling your own hands or on your body. Your body is warm because respiration is happening in your cells, creating heat as a byproduct. When you die, that respiration will stop. The heat will fade from your body. Dead bodies are cold, yeah? Same temperature as the room, actually. After that, you will be dead. Your body can only work at a very, very particular temperature. Your body will fade. The heat will fade from your body. One day you will be a cold, lifeless corpse. Notice you're moving. That movement will stop. You'll be unable to move. You're unable to. Feature of life is it can move towards a goal. You won't be able to do that. Notice awareness. You can hear me. Maybe you're aware of sensations or tastes or sounds. You're probably aware of my voice. That awareness will fade, transform, or in some way not be how it is now. Notice the physicality of your body. Maybe the weight, the bones, the muscle. When you die, that will start to disintegrate. First of all, you'll dehydrate. Soft things will start to disintegrate, maybe eaten by animals, maybe burnt, rotting. Eventually, it'll just be bone with skin on top. Eventually, even the skin will go, just the bones remain. And in 100 or 200 years, the bones will disintegrate, depending on the conditions, and become calcium, magnesium, other atoms, completely disintegrating. The bones will be redistributed, as will all the cells in your body, all the atoms in your body, into the air, into the soil, wherever. All your possessions will be sold or given away, and you will die. People will remember you for a little bit, and eventually those people too will die. Very likely in 100 years, everybody here will be dead. 150 years, everybody you know will be dead. Good people, bad people, young people, old people, animals, plants, all around you. Pretty soon they'll all be dead too. Keep noticing your breathing. That's a temporary situation. Like a ticking clock. Everyone is one less. This isn't a dress rehearsal. This is it. It's like a step. A step towards your death. Each heartbeat. My question to you is, what do you want to do before you die? What do you want to do before you die? Maybe it's how do you want to be? Who do you want to be with? The main focus today is what do you want to do? What do you want to do before you die? Maybe it comes up intuitively. Maybe nothing's there today, but we've nudged you in a direction. A few more breaths, noticing you're alive. You still have a little bit more time. Noticing the warmth, moving your body, noticing you can be aware, looking around the room, finding a couple of things that are green or blue to tune back in to where you are right now. Please turn your cameras on so I can see you doing okay. Be good to see everyone's faces if at all possible. Okay, give me a thumbs up if you're okay, or a wobbly thumbs if you're not so sure. It's okay to be a bit wobbly after something like this. I do a much more extended version in person, but I wanted to at least do a light version today. If this was your first time, well done. This is something you can repeat if you YouTube death meditation and my name. One will come up, but there's lots of other good ones. It's a traditional part of Tibetan and Theravadan Buddhism, amongst other traditions. Steve, let's do breakout rooms just for a few minutes and give people a chance to say how that was for them with each other.
Groups of 6 again and mix them up, or?
Yeah, new groups, mix it up. You can stay here if you prefer not to join a group, but if you want to join a group and have a little chat, just do a few minutes.
There we go.
So, could be nice to just see the people are coming back now. Welcome back. Everybody's still alive. Give me a wave. You're still alive. Still here. Go for a break in a little minute. I just want to touch base with you. Why do you think we did that? Why was this is sort of like the deep part of the workshop? Why do you think we did this? In the chat, if you prefer.
Mark,
I subject you to this. Yes.
I think that's a great exercise, just for the fact that that's like the most real thing that we could ever talk about. The fact that everyone will die. Like, life is finite, and it could easily put someone in the mindset of being like negative and say, "Wow, if everyone's going to die, what do I even matter? You know, why do I even matter?" Even for like how you framed it, to say that everyone in the next 150 years will be dead. Like, it's like, who can even think beyond that, right? Like, so it's like, why do I even want to like do, like, why would I even care about a purpose? My purpose should be like not caring about my purpose, right? Like, that's how some people can view it. But I think that it empowered us to really understand what we really connect with, even like get into the very reality of life, that it is finite and that it is morbid, and that you broke it down to the atomic, measures of it all, the science of it. But it was very empowering and liberating, just to understand that as a collective, this group wants to see more, and we're living for something. Even knowing.
Joseph, do you mind if I jump in? I think you've already said it beautifully and very articulately. There's loads of good comments in the chat about it as well. It's a kick in the ass. It wakes you up. And interestingly, Joseph, I've done this with a lot of people over the years. And the first time you do it, it can be almost a bit depressing, like, shit, what's the point? But actually, the more you do it, most people come out of it feeling grateful. Yeah, like I've had some run-ins. I've worked in a bunch of war zones, and I've had some pretty close run-ins with death. And I tell you, when you have a cup of tea after almost getting shot, that's the best tea you'll ever have. Yeah. It's like you kiss your woman, you're like, wow, this is amazing. It's just like everything tastes good, because all of a sudden, like, why, like the fact that it doesn't last forever is there. You hold people a little bit closer. You pay a bit more attention when people are speaking. It's a beautiful thing. And most people come out of this with a sense of gratitude or a sense of direction, yeah,
Right.
rather than like nihilism. There's the current consumer world is designed to create nihilism and narcissism. Yeah, absolutely designed to create those two things. For me, death is an antidote to nihilism.
Yeah.
And actually, most people, you get that sense. You can see there's an energy to you, right, Joseph? Right? Tell me if I'm wrong. It's like that, like, yeah, you know, you've got life in your body, yeah. So it's
Absolutely.
yeah, that's what we're looking for, and waking up to that reality. So thank you, beautifully put, and some great comments there. Some great comments. If you're still a bit stuck in the morbid, what I would say is look for life later in the day. Okay, so look for children, look for flowers, look for sunshine, move your body. There's plenty of life out there if you go looking for it. Look for plants, you know, there's life everywhere, right? So if you're a little bit like stuck on the death, then look for the life as well, because you need both. You need both to give you the energy to work, yeah? Okay, so you don't have to do that all the time, but I'd recommend doing some versions of it. You know, we could like bury you in a casket underground, or, you know, I once spent an hour in India watching a body being burned, and then they hit it with sticks and the brains go flying out. And, you know, it's fucking heavy, man, but it's like, it's a hell of a death meditation to watch that for an hour, you know? And I was feeling like, I can handle this, you know, death, no problem. I do death meditations, and I'm walking along the bloody river, and this dead body of a kid washed up on the beach, because they don't burn the kids, because the kids are considered pure, so they don't have to burn them. And I was like, fuck. And that just broke me, man. That just broke me. That was like too much for me. Yeah. It's like everyone's got a limit. That was my limit. I could watch the burning body for an hour, but the kid was just too much. Just too much. So do be gentle with yourself. If you do this, find your edge, and you don't need to go past your edge. You just need to go up to your edge. Does that make sense? Yeah, I'm encouraging you, like, for some of you that have like lived quite a nice life and haven't been around any war, just walking through a graveyard briefly might be enough, right? That's a way you can do this. Just walk through a graveyard, look at the names and go, okay, I'm not so different from these names. Yeah. Cool. You guys need a break? Why don't we just do a very quick, like, water in, water out, 3-minute break until 25 past. So if you need the toilet or tea, or you just want to move or go cry onto the arms of your partner or anything else, then a few minutes. I think we're on time. So coming back from the break, what is your biggest learning so far? In the chat, what is your biggest learning so far? If someone said, did you just waste the last 90 minutes of your life that you'll never get back, that brought you 90 minutes closer to your death, you'd say no, because I learned this, or I was reminded of this, and then write that in the chat. Maybe I'll, yeah, cool. Let's do a bit of Q&A. Questions. We covered strengths. We covered what do you love, but being careful of pleasure is not the indicator of that. Yeah. I basically said anything that's useful for the world, you'll get paid for. Marketing's another workshop. I do free version of that as well. There's a way to make a living from almost anything, almost anything. If you're of service to people, if you're useful to people, they'll give you money for it. So that's the part I actually worry least about. You find life purpose, I can teach you marketing skills. Edzard, you have your hand up, sir.
Yes, hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I just have a question with the things that, well, I find myself in the position that with the things that I'm really good at, I'm a massage therapist, for example, and I really get good feedback from the people. I just find myself not feeling good about enjoying what I do, if that makes sense. I know that I'm good at what I do, but it's maybe a little bit of a perfectionist thing, but also it's almost it becomes too much about me trying to enjoy what I do instead of actually doing my best for the client. And at the end of the day, they feel great, but I feel shit.
Yeah. Okay, so you let me help get clear on this. So you feel shit because of what? Because you're too orientated to yourself and what you're doing. Why do you feel shit? You've helped them. I'm trying to understand that.
Yeah, I get the feeling that I'm doing the massage more about me and finding what I enjoy about it and finding
Yeah.
the purpose in it instead of actually giving the client what they need.
Yeah.
And then I just don't feel fulfilled, although I know I did a good job.
Yeah, great. Okay, so some things we're good at that aren't our life purpose, so that may be more general for other people. The other one here is that this service orientation is really important. And there's a paradox here that if we're focusing on our own thing and it's, you know, me and my life purpose or my skill, we lose that sense of flow. So for me, a flow state is best when there's a certain degree of competence and a certain degree of challenge, and it's done in service, and then we can lose ourselves in that. So the interesting thing is, as soon as if I'm thinking about like, you know, me and having a good time and is this what I want, that actually isn't a good time. Yeah. It's actually losing yourself in the service of the activity that's key to a sense of purpose. So that's just my input for now.
Okay.
Okay, somebody else. That one might have needed a bit more digging into, but I want to keep moving. Omar, am I saying your name right, mate?
Yeah, Omar. Let's talk about motivation and blocks and how to lift the blocks and actually find the energy to sit down and do the work.
Okay, so you're talking about resistance.
Mm.
Yeah, so there's a great book called The War of Art by Steve Pressfield, which I recommend. It's a very short, easy read, and you can listen to it in an hour maybe. Resistance is a sign of purpose, not a sign of not being on purpose. Okay? So he almost talks about like the war of it, like the devil is there. You know, he has this kind of like almost like religious combative frame around this. But absolutely, you will get writer's block. You will get resistance. Often to the things you most need to do. And this is, you know, this is not a simple thing. It is a daily thing. And sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. I was coaching a student this week that spent 3 hours rolling around on the kitchen floor crying because she couldn't do the thing that she needed to do, that she knew was her life purpose. And now there's a few things that help, you know, breaking things down into small parts so you actually know what you need to be doing, having and doing the death meditation so you're motivated, having support. You know, sometimes it's just little things like you've paid someone to be there to coach you, so you have to turn up. There's hacks, there's deep existential looks at it. But to be honest, that is just a part of what we deal with as human beings. Sometimes people ask me, like, how do I get rid of resistance? How do I get rid of procrastination? You don't. You know, that is your war for the rest of your life. Welcome to the party of being human. So, yeah, I have days where I know exactly. I spent a week in Austin trying to write a book, wrote nothing for that whole week. And it was just like, for fuck's sake, I was so frustrated. Yeah. I'd rearranged all the books in the Airbnb, you know, done everything but that thing. So it's like, this is just a battle we face, and everybody finds their own ways around it. Some people find routine help. Some people find the opposite. You know, embodiment techniques can help. You know, I'll do this, like 3 chest breaths, and then go to work. Yeah. Like if your body is like, you know, it kind of like some old man's penis, you know, it's like, yeah, you haven't got enough virility in your body. You might be better off lifting some weights and then trying to do the thing. You know what I mean? So it's like sometimes the body is the best way in, is to actually get that energy in your body and then do the thing. You know, sometimes it's just to have somebody kick your ass if you don't do it, you know? Sometimes it's to have someone who's really kind to you and listens to you deeply about all your problems, you know, and then you go do it. So there's no answer to this. And yeah, good luck. You're human. Next question.
We've had a hand raised for a little while, so maybe.
Go for it. And who's the hand raised person?
Me.
Yeah.
Sylvia.
Sylvia and then Karina. Okay, go, Sylvia.
Hi. So yeah, I just wanted to know if, because you mentioned marketing, I just wondered if the idea of purpose has to be automatically something that you need marketing for, because you need to in some way make it something that is successful on a financial level, or as long as your purpose is aligned with what you're doing and how you're spending your time, the financial part is met.
Sure. Okay. Nevjinsky, I love your surname. Am I saying that right? Where's that from?
My grandfather was Russian, but I'm actually Portuguese of a French mother, and I lived 22 years in New York City being a professional model.
Enchanté, oi linda, tudo bem, Kijk de lá. There, 3 languages. We can speak all of those. Tudo bem, ótimo. Okay, so. No, you don't need to be financially successful to find life purpose. You know, Mother Teresa had a sense of life purpose, and though she did have vast amounts of wealth for her organization, she didn't have it personally. Okay.
Right.
So, however, it bloody helps if you can make a living from something. Why? Because then you can get good at it. Embodiment's all I do. This is all I do is teach and teach embodiment, right? So I'm going to spend my life doing what I love, which A means I'm, you know, if you can't make a living from it, you either need to parasite off someone else, okay, you need to live off charity, okay, or you have to get a job. Fuck that. Disgusting idea. Absolutely disgusting. The idea of me getting a job now, it's like, okay, what a waste of my life. So if you can't make a financial living from what you do, and if you're good at something and you devote yourself fully to it, you are likely to make a good living. You are likely. Okay, people will pay for excellence, and they'll wait. They'll pay for excellence and they'll pay for passion. However, basic marketing skills is just being a fucking grown up. It's like if you live in America, you need to drive a car. You just need to learn to drive. Learn to drive a fucking car if you live in America, right? If you live by the water, learn to swim. Okay, if you live in capitalism, learn basic marketing. Be a grown up. Basic skills. Everyone can learn the basic skills. I can teach you marketing in. Steve, how long does it take me to teach marketing? 4 hours for the basics? If you want to get really good at it, a couple of years. It's like, learn it. Like you learn a language, like you learn French or Russian or Portuguese. It's no big deal. So that's what I say about marketing. Now for your excuses, go. Sylvia, no excuses?
Oh, no, I'm already doing what I want to do. And thankfully I had a very good purpose, which was to be a dancer. And luckily, or unluckily, I got injured, and I have a lifelong, until I die, how would I say, a compensation for having a hip replacement. So financial part is set. So I am actually doing what I wanted to do, which in one place, be teaching yoga, dancing, doing agriculture, being,
okay, that sounds good.
Yeah. So the marketing, it was just like, because it sounded like I had that question if it needed to be in line with some kind
you're wasting our time. Nevjinsky does sound like a dancer. I love your name. Okay, thank you. And there was one other hand up, Karina from Sweden, who's embarrassed to ask a question and take up space and be seen. But let's talk now.
Yeah, I'm doing it anyway.
Good.
I think my question is a little bit similar to the one from Edsard. I'm a nurse, and I've been a nurse for 30 years. And I think I at least was quite good at it. I worked in the ICU quite many years, and but I kind of had a feeling it was hard to work within the system, and that my skills were not, which are more human skills. I was good at sitting beside patients and the energy between us and so on, and my skills could not come really through there. So
sure.
So now I'm working with other things, and I'm my more creative side to, I want to write. I don't know if I'm good at it, but I think.
What's the question? What's the question, Karina?
The question is, how do you know if you are good at a thing and you can earn money on it, but your call is like on another thing?
Yes, do the other thing.
How do you find out what's the right?
We do the other thing.
You do the other thing. Yeah.
Like as you get older, as you get older, it gets harder to find life purpose because you get offered cookies, you know, you get offered money or prestige or lovers or whatever the thing is for doing the thing, right? So you get good at something and you found a way to fit into society, and, you know, you get status from being a nurse, particularly now, right? Everybody loves nurses right now. Okay. You get a certain wage that you can guarantee upon. Okay. You've built it into your identity. It's, I am a nurse. It's now at the identity level. Now you're really screwed. Okay. So it's like, now it's tricky to let go of, you know, an 18-year-old doesn't have any of that baggage. Yeah. So it's like, it's way better to try and find life purpose when you're 18, penniless, no investment in anything, right? As you get older.
I'm in a very powerful position because the work I have now is like, I'm free every second week, and every second week I work only from home.
Yeah, you get goodies. You get goodies. You know, you get rewards. So you've got a choice. You can have that, or you can have life purpose.
Yeah.
You can't have both. Yeah? It gets harder to readjust when you're older. And society doesn't give you a perfect thing for your life purpose. You're like, well, I'm a teacher, but I don't like marketing. I'm like, yeah, because society set that up, right? It's like, you've got to do this yourself. This is self-forged. So yeah, it's absolutely tough decision. I don't blame anyone that says, you know what, I'm 50, I'm going to get my pension in 10 years. I just want to continue doing what I'm doing, and it's comfortable and it's easy. It's like, great, fine. Waste the next 10 years of your life to get your pension. Well done. You know, I'm not saying be irresponsible. If you've got a mortgage and you need to, you know, save a certain amount of money before you can do your own thing or whatever, you still have to be responsible. But yeah, life's a bitch, huh? I mean, you know the answer, Karina. You know the answer. I can see in you, you know it. It's like, you know. It's just like, I don't want to. Don't make me do that, Mark. Mark, don't make me do that. I'm not going to make you do it. It's your choice. But you know. It's just how much do you want to suffer before you do the thing you know? That's your choice.
Well, I'm quite good at that.
Yeah, torture yourself as long as you want. Yeah. Or Karina, are you a good friend? Would you say you're a good friend to other people?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so treat yourself like you're a friend, okay? Because you're probably better at looking after your friends than yourself. So imagine you're a friend in charge of your own life, and then decide what to do based on that. Make sense?
Yeah.
Or you can keep torturing yourself for another few years and blame me. I don't mind. But there's a choice that you know the answer. Thank you, Karina, for being brave and vulnerable and bringing out. I know it's, my guess is, tell me if I'm wrong, it's not your happy space to be in a public place and, you know, have some brash English guy shout at you. So good work.
Thank you.
I think you have the sweetest, bravest people here today. Okay. Good. Good. If you were to die now, what would you regret not doing? Yes, this is another death meditation. Yeah, someone said, can you have a job that gives time for real purpose? Possible, but then your purpose is a hobby. Okay, and it means you only be able to do it for a certain amount of time. And that might be okay. You know, I knew one Aikido instructor that had a job his whole life he didn't like, but it gave him enough space to do his Aikido. He was still a bit regretful at the end of his life, though. I was his student when he was an old guy, and you could see he was like, yeah, well, it enabled me to do it, but he hadn't gone down the professional route. And, you know, as a result, he hadn't gone as fully into his art as he might have done. Yeah. Good. Yes, it can build up a resentment. Absolutely. All right. So what have we covered today? Let's have a quick review. We've covered how to find your strengths by asking your clients, texting your friends, noticing what's easy, noticing what you find obvious that other people can't do. Yeah. We've looked at finding what you love through noticing what you have energy for, what your body radar says. You can do a really deep body listening that we didn't do today, like really meditating on it, you know, going to the body for like an hour, really deep, or like focusing method, asking yourself that question. We didn't do that today. Yeah, noticing what you find easy, noticing what you have energy for, noticing the bright spots in your otherwise awful life. You know, what's the part of your job or your life that you really look forward to? Okay. And then being of service to others so you can make a living from it. Yeah. Finding a way to put that in a form which is of service to others. That's the heart of marketing, by the way, solving people's problems. Yeah. Okay. So there's the basics of how to find life purpose. Good. Now you need to go do the work, don't you? Why haven't you fixed my life, Mark? Well, because you've got to do the work. So I'd like you to write down one thing that you can do that's like a takeaway, not just as an insight, but as a piece of work. Yeah, like I'm doing a death meditation every week, or I'm going to change my walk home from work through the graveyard to do that, or I'm going to ask all my friends about my strengths, or I'm going to go through my diary for the week and note and sort of write down what I enjoyed most in that week. Okay. So I'll give you a few minutes to write down some actions, some things that you can take forward, so you haven't just had 2 hours of Walsh entertainment. I'm not your fucking TV. Susanna, you think I'm your TV? Think I'm your fucking TV? So a little bit. It's getting that way, is it? Right, I'm charging you next time. It's Netflix, and for the very least. By the way, if you're wanting resources on this life purpose stuff, the Purpose Black Belt course we did has got most of the videos are free now on YouTube. If you put in Purpose Black Belt into YouTube, you'll come up with a bunch of other stuff we haven't done today. I'm probably going to redo it in the future as well as an evergreen course. So you might find in your inbox in about a month or two's time, there's an email saying, hey, do you want to buy this new product? But shitloads of it is available online. There's a really good video on questions as well. I asked like 30 of the best coaches in the world on this subject what their favorite questions were for life purpose. That's my favorite one. Steve, do you want to see if you can find that video? It's a really good one. Put in life purpose questions, Mark Walsh, into YouTube. There's a document around somewhere with it on.
Yeah, I just posted.
Boom, boom, that was quick.
That was from before. So was this?
No, that's the beginning of the list, isn't it? That's just the beginning of the list, yeah. See if you can find the specific video that says questions on it. I love the names of my titles. Being a loser is not spiritual. What a great title for a video. Okay. Good. So if you're all committed to one action that you can do in the next week, put it in your diary, make space for it. This is the most important part of the workshop. Okay. It's not my opinions. It's you doing the work. Remember, you don't have to find this in one thing of lightning like Paul on the road to Damascus. Okay. It can be just little nudges. Do I hate this more or this more? Yeah. It's like little nudges in the right direction. It's an ongoing piece of work, I would say. Sometimes I find myself doing a job that's not quite right. Make sense? I'm doing a job like, it doesn't feel, it's just a little bit off. Yeah, like I used to teach time management workshops, and it was teaching, but it wasn't embodiment. After a while, it started to feel boring. I was demotivated. I even started sabotaging it. I would like be deliberately rude to the clients and, not dress properly for the job because it was like business job, and I'd be like, oh, fuck it, I'm not wearing a suit. And part of me was trying to sabotage it. And eventually, I just realized like this. I should take this off my website. Enough time management. I'm good at it. I can teach a really good time management workshop, but it wasn't in my heart,
Posted the questions one in the chat there as well. Coaching questions.
What is the question, sorry? There's another question?
Oh, no, sorry, I posted the questions 20 minutes.
Oh, great. The thing of the questions, yeah. Okay, so takeaways, main takeaways. Don't waste your life. You only get one, all right? Unless you're into reincarnation, but it's kind of different. Don't waste your life. Find at least make some effort to try and get a bit closer to something that's a bit of purpose for you. Remember, there's those different frames on purpose. Remember, it's like a romance. So if you push it too hard, it's not going to help. You have to coax it like a cat from under a car. You have to seduce your sense of purpose, okay? To charm your sense of purpose, yeah? not demand it. Why won't you tell me? Okay, love me. No, don't do that. Okay, take it gentle with yourself. Take it easy, particularly if you're having a rough time right now with everything that's going on in the world, you know, with the stuff in the States, with the stuff around racism, with COVID, with where, you know, maybe your money's been hit in your work. It's not always the best to go hard into this stuff at the difficult times in life, yeah? That being said, I've got a nice, gentle, hippie slide to end with. There we go. Okay. Nice, gentle message to end with. So, cool. Final questions before we wrap up. We'll probably finish 5 minutes early, so it gives us 5 minutes. Final questions. I'm feeling suitably knackered.
I believe Patrick,
Nice, tired.
Patrick did have his hand raised earlier. I don't know if that was a final question.
Not asking a question, you're wasting an opportunity. You can pay me £250 an hour to ask me questions if you want, or you can ask me a question now. Janine.
How do you manage resistance? What's
All those things I just said. Were you here?
No, but that idea that I'm not good enough, you know, that old chestnut.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
you know,
yeah. I don't have that
job. I like my job, but I tell myself I'm crap at it.
Okay, that's narcissistic. So move your focus to the people you're serving and away from yourself. You're none of your business. None of your fucking business. Okay, the focus should be on the client, on the people you're serving. You can't worry about yourself unless you're being self-centered. Okay, so move your orientation to being of service rather than if you're good enough or not. Also, in capitalism, it doesn't matter what you think. It matters what the customer thinks. Okay. Or in public sector, you know, the service users, is that what they call it? Okay, so that's the key thing. They're the better judge of it, not you. Assume you're insane. Assume your brain is not your friend. Assume your brain lies to you. Okay, orientate around service and what your customer will pay for. That's the only important thing in capitalism.
That's great.
Hello, Mark and Steve. I want to tell you thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I want to tell you thank you very much. Quick feedback there. I registered earlier in the week and I got a confirmation email, but I did not get the Zoom link to join. Luckily, one of my buddies got it too, so he was able to share it with me. But I'm so glad. I was really bummed at first, but my question earlier, you talked about being tuned into your body due to martial arts. Can you expound on that, because you referenced it as being because you were so tuned into your body, you're able to recognize your purpose when it came through. Can you expound on that, please?
Yeah. First of all, Patrick, email Steve your private message Steve your email. He'll make sure you get the recordings for free as well, in case if you didn't get those before. Okay, so we'll sort you out for free for the rest of it if you missed some of it. Yeah. So basically, body awareness is necessary to notice when you're turned on or not. Okay, so when you're turned on to life purpose, either there's that excitement, that energy, or that sense of like quiet rightness, you know, that sense of like you're in the right place, the shoes that fit. So the more body awareness you practice, the more easily you can notice that. Yeah. So this is like yoga, body-based meditation, gentle yoga, I should say, not the hard stuff. Gentle yoga, body-based meditation, any kind of Tai Chi, any kind of practice that puts you in your body is going to be helpful for being more closely attuned to that body radar, looking for those sensations. So when we're not in our bodies, which is the default in sort of modern society, we're going to miss the messages. Is that helpful, Patrick?
Thank you.
Pleasure.
And you said earlier, I cut myself out briefly there. You said email Steve something.
Yeah, email Steve. Send Steve now your email, and he'll send you the recordings for today. Yeah,
got it. Thank you.
Pleasure, mate. Okay, so if you are into embodiment, do check out our crowdfunder for the embodiment conference. Steve, could you share the link for that? tecrowdfund.org. Ridiculously good deals that I'm never going to be doing again because we need to raise cash flow for the conference. So if you want a ridiculously good deal and to help us out to make the conference happen, to bring embodiment to the world, then have a look at that. The actual conference is in October. We do loads of other courses. Steve, maybe you could... someone started a circular saw outside my house. I guess it's good timing. I should be grateful. Steve can share also the events page. We have one-day events coming up. We have a men's day coming up. We have a Scandinavian day coming up. We have one on pain coming up. We have one on discrimination in a month or so. We'll have all sorts of events. Most of them are free. And then we do some trainings that are like, you know, small amounts of money. I'm doing a centering week, which is £10, which is like 13 or 14 US dollars. So that's like a whole week of stuff twice a day. There's a whole load of stuff on the events page if you want to see what else is going on. Cool. In terms of books, there are books out there on life purpose. My friend Jamie Catto has a good one. Jamie Catto. Let me put his name in there. There's another good book I like called Screw Work, Let's Play. That's another good one. There's a few other good ones out there on life purpose. You can wade your way through them. A lot of coaches working in this area, but there's a couple. Any questions on resources or where to find out more about my work or about purpose in general? I mentioned Purpose Black Belt on YouTube for free. There's a couple of episodes, I'd say, on my podcast. Anyone a podcast listener? Anyone like podcasts? The Embodiment podcast, well worth checking out if you're into podcasts. Cool. Any other questions? Good. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you've got money, go and give it to me at the crowdfunding. If you haven't, I get it. I've been there. Go look at my marketing courses and make some. So next time you can give me some money. Thank you to Steve. Everybody thanks Steve. Helping us out, a tech person, messaging people in the background. Have a look on the screen, look at the nice people who want to get closer to a sense of life purpose, probably so they can help themselves and the world. So that is good. Life purpose nearly always has service built into it, actually. So wishing them all well, maybe flicking through the screen on their journey. Thea there, Joe there, Carmel there. Don't they look nice? Robin there. Nice people. Lots of nice people. If this was your first time being Walshed, I hope it wasn't too brutal. You may be sore for a little bit afterwards. Just use some sort of Vaseline, you'll be fine. We all good? Yes, I did actually say that, new people. Okay, good. Everyone happy? Pretend you are, if not. We're done. I want dinner. Nice one. Peace out, guys. Take it easy. Bye-bye. Mwah.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Thank you. Unmute everyone,
Thank
Steve.
you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank
Cheers.
you, Steve.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
No way.
Go to your life.
Thank you.
Go to like work, life purpose stuff. Nice to meet you, Sylvia.
Bye.
Prazer, muito prazer, linda.
Muito prazer. Tchau.
Tchau, tchau.